Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into the top 10 curriculum development methods for grades 1 through 10. Curriculum development is a big deal. It's the foundation upon which educational experiences are built. It's how we decide what to teach, how to teach it, and how to measure if anyone is actually learning anything. Every student is different. They have unique needs, interests, and preferred ways of learning. Each method comes with its own set of philosophies, teaching approaches, and learning objectives. So, buckle up, grab your notebooks, and get ready to explore the diverse landscape of curriculum development. Let's kick things off with a tried and true method, the subject-centered approach. This is the way many of us experience school. Think back to your own time in the classroom. You probably had separate periods for math, science, history, and language arts, right? The subject-centered approach organizes the curriculum around subjects, emphasizing mastery of content within those disciplines. It provides a structured and organized way to deliver information, plus it aligns well with standardized testing. Critics argue it can be too rigid and compartmentalized. The real world doesn't operate in separate subject boxes, right? Still, the subject-centered approach remains a cornerstone of education. Okay, so we've talked about the subject-centered approach, but what about the learners themselves? Enter the learner-centered approach. This method flips the script and puts students at the heart of the learning process. Imagine a classroom where your individual needs, interests, and experiences take center stage. In a learner-centered environment, teachers act more like facilitators or guides. They provide you with the tools and resources you need, then step back and let you explore, experiment, and learn at your own pace. This approach often involves a lot of group work, hands-on activities, and personalized learning plans. The goal here isn't just to memorize facts and figures, it's to foster a love of learning, encourage critical thinking, and help you develop the skills you need to become a lifelong learner. One challenge is managing a classroom where everyone is learning at their own pace. Remember that old saying, experience is the best teacher? The activity/experience-centered approach takes that idea and runs with it. This method is all about getting your hands dirty, diving into real-world experiences, and learning by doing. Think back to a time when you learned something new through experience. Those aha moments often stick with us long after we've forgotten textbook information. In the classroom, this might involve field trips, simulations, role-playing, or creating projects that address real-world problems. The activity/experience-centered approach is all about active learning, encouraging curiosity, and exploring different solutions. Designing and implementing these experiences takes time, resources, and creativity. But when used effectively, it can make learning fun, engaging, and relevant. Chapter 4. Problem-centered approach, solving real-world problems. The world is full of problems, but they can be amazing opportunities for learning and growth. This method takes real-world issues and uses them as the starting point for learning. Instead of just memorizing facts, you're challenged to think critically and come up with creative solutions. Imagine a classroom where you're tasked with designing a campaign to raise awareness about environmental issues. The problem-centered approach encourages you to ask tough questions, collaborate with others, and develop innovative solutions. It can be tough to find problems that are both engaging and age-appropriate. Tackling real-world problems can sometimes get a little messy and unpredictable, but that's part of what makes it so exciting. Chapter 5. Thematic integrated approach. Connecting the dots. Sometimes learning different subjects in isolation can feel disconnected. The thematic integrated approach shows you how interconnected everything really is. This method takes a central theme or topic and uses it as a lens to explore different subject areas. The idea is to break down those artificial barriers between subjects and show you how concepts in one area relate to another. This approach can make learning more holistic, engaging, and relevant. It helps you connect the dots between different ideas and see the bigger picture. Designing a truly integrated curriculum takes careful planning and collaboration, but when done well, it fosters a deeper understanding and appreciation for the interconnectedness of knowledge. Chapter 6. Competency-based approach. Level up your learning. The competency-based approach focuses on what you know and can do rather than how much time you've spent in a classroom. Instead of moving through the curriculum at a set pace, you progress as you demonstrate mastery of specific competencies or skills. It's like leveling up in a video game. This approach allows you to learn at your own pace and on your own terms. It often involves personalized learning plans, frequent assessments, and opportunities to demonstrate learning through projects or presentations. Designing and implementing a competency-based system can be complex and time-consuming. But for those who thrive in a more personalized and flexible learning environment, it can be a game changer. Chapter 7. Spiral Curriculum. Bruner's Approach. Repetition is key. Have you ever noticed how certain ideas or concepts seem to pop up again and again throughout your education? That's the spiral curriculum. Think of it like climbing a mountain. You start at the base with a basic understanding of a concept. As you spiral upwards, you revisit that same concept multiple times, each time delving a little deeper and adding more complexity. The idea is that by revisiting concepts multiple times, you strengthen your understanding and build upon prior knowledge. Some argue that revisiting the same concepts can get repetitive and boring. But for many learners, the spiral approach provides a solid framework for building lasting understanding. Chapter 8. Outcome-based approach, starting with the end in mind. The outcome-based approach is all about setting clear learning goals and then working backward to design a curriculum that helps students achieve those goals. Think of it like planning a road trip. You'd first decide on your destination. That's your learning outcome. Then, you'd map out the best route to get there. That's your curriculum. In an outcome-based system, those learning outcomes guide everything from lesson planning to assessments. The focus is on ensuring that students have the knowledge, skills and competencies they need to succeed in the real world. Defining clear and measurable learning outcomes can be tricky, but when implemented effectively, the outcome-based approach ensures education is relevant and aligned with the needs of the 21st century. Chapter 9. Standards-based approach. Meeting the mark. In the world of education, standards are a big deal. They outline what students should know and be able to do at each grade level. The standards-based approach ensures that curriculum and instruction are aligned with those standards. Think of standards like the blueprints for a house. They provide a framework for ensuring that students receive a high-quality education. The goal is to ensure that everything students learn is aligned with those standards and that they're adequately prepared for standardized tests. Proponents argue that it helps ensure consistency and rigor in education, while critics worry that it can lead to a teaching to the test mentality. Chapter 10. Project-based learning, PBL. The power of projects. Project-based learning takes learning beyond the textbook and the classroom walls. It immerses you in real-world challenges that require you to apply your knowledge and skills in meaningful ways. Instead of just learning about ecosystems in a textbook, you might design and conduct an experiment to investigate the impact of pollution on a local pond. Project-based learning is all about active learning, collaboration, and problem-solving. It encourages you to ask questions, conduct research, gather data, analyze information, and present your findings in creative ways. Implementing PBL effectively requires careful planning and dedicated resources. But for those who thrive in a hands-on, inquiry-based learning environment, PBL can be incredibly rewarding. So there you have it. 10 different approaches to curriculum development, each with its own strengths and weaknesses. These methods aren't mutually exclusive. Many educators draw inspiration from multiple approaches to create a rich and varied learning experience. The key is to choose the methods that best align with your educational philosophy and the needs of your students. The goal of education isn't just to fill students' heads with facts and figures, it's to equip them with the skills, knowledge and mindsets they need to thrive in an ever-changing world. Thanks for joining us on this journey through the world of curriculum development. Until next time, keep those minds curious and those learning caps on.